if you have your Bible, if you have your phone or the Bible app, just make sure you're not distracted by anything else. But grab your Bible and turn to Mark chapter 2. Mark chapter 2. And we're just going to read 2 verses. So if you can, you're like, oh, he's going to read a full chapter. Nope. I'm just going to read 2 verses in Mark chapter 2 from our Bible reading plan, which you should join one if you're not. But Mark chapter 2, verse 1 says this, and when he returned to Capernaum, this is Jesus, after some days, it was reported that he was at home. Verse 2, I want you to catch this. And many were gathered together so that there was no more room, not even at the door. Okay, those are the 2 verses that I want you to hold on to for a second. There was many gathered together, no more room, not even at the door. And this is a story of Jesus preaching and teaching in this house, okay? If you don't know about the houses in this century, this era, the houses weren't super big, so it's pretty small, but still a good amount of people are crammed into this house. It's full to the brim. People are standing at the windows looking in because they want to hear this crazy teacher, this crazy rabbi that is countercultural to everything. I mean, they hear rumors about him. They hear all this kind of stuff about him, and so they want to see what this is all about, and so they're cramming in. They all want to hear Jesus. And this is actually the story of a group of friends. So we think, or at least someone that were acquainted with each other, because there was someone who was paralyzed, right? This section is on how Jesus heals a paralytic. So there's a paralytic man, and then there's 4 friends carried by 4 men. I would assume they're friends. Carried by 4 men. And because of the crowd, they couldn't get him in. And so, you may have heard this story, you may have not. But long story short, they're like, we're getting this dude to Jesus because we want to see him healed. They believed in who Jesus was, whether they knew him or not. They had heard rumors about him for sure. And they knew that this Jesus guy was the real deal. And so they're like, we ain't doing anything other than getting this guy to Jesus. We're not going away. We're not leaving. And so what do? They ran through the front door. No, not at all. Not even close. Okay, they climbed through the window. That seems like a good idea, but they didn't do that either. They said, excuse me, can I please get in? No, not that either. No, they went onto the roof. They start digging because roofs were made out of stuff you could dig, like dirt and clay and different things like that. And so they start digging because they're like, the only way, the direct route, right? If you drive or if you ride in the car, right? There's certain routes that you take. You can take a long route, you take a direct route, but you always want to, I'm always thinking what is the fastest route, right? Even in anything, right? What's the fastest way I can do something? What's the fastest way, right? And so that's what they're like. I need the direct route to Jesus. And so they get on the roof, they start digging, and then they begin to lower this paralyzed man right in front of Jesus. And it says this in verse 5, and I love this verse, catch this. And when Jesus saw their faith, so this had nothing to do with the paralyzed man. It wasn't the paralyzed man's faith, it was the 4 men's faith. When he saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, when he saw the 4 men's faith to say, I'm going to put this guy through the roof, that's how much it means to me to get this guy to Jesus. When he saw their faith, he healed the paralytic man. And this is a great story. It's an awesome thing that Jesus did because these friends got this guy to Jesus. But I want to go back to that first 2 verses that I read in the beginning. And many were gathered together so that there was no more room, not even at the door. And I want to think about that for a second. I'm going to read it one more time so you get it. And when he returned to Capernaum after some days, it was reported that he was at home, and many were gathered together so that there was no more room, not even at the door. And I want you to put yourself in these guys' shoes for a second. When there's a bunch of people at a place and there's no more room, not even the door. Let's make it a little bit more modern, okay? You go to a restaurant. The whole place is crowded. The whole place is gathered with a bunch of people. There's no more room, not even at the door. What do you do? What do you do? Put it in the chats. What do you do? What do you do when you go to a restaurant that you have been craving. I mean, like, just, you want to go so bad, right? This restaurant is like the best restaurant, your favorite restaurant. Like, put your favorite restaurant or something in the chats. Like, what place for you is just like, oh, I'm just so excited to go there, right? And you get there, and then it is so crowded. Tons of people, every table's taken, the line at the host is just completely out the door. Like, it's just crazy. It's bonkers. I never say bonkers, but I chose that word for here and now because why not, right? Okay, but the whole place is crowded, right? You're like, the wait's gonna be too long. I don't want to wait. I want to eat. That's why I came here at the time that I came here. I didn't come here at the time that I came here so that I could wait another hour and a half to eat. No, I came at the time that I came so that I could eat now, so that I could get in now, right? So what happens? What do we do when the place is crowded? There's no more room, not even at the door. We leave. That's what I would do. I would leave. I'd be disappointed. I'd be bummed. I may even shed a few tears. But either way, I would leave. I would leave. Okay, let's think of another thing. Man, on Instagram, on social medias, at school, when everybody's doing the same thing, when everybody's gathered together, let's kind of translate that for a second. What if everybody's doing the same thing? So that feels like there's no more room for you to even jump in, even if you wanted to. On social media, people are posting the same things, doing the same things. What do we do when that happens? I don't even want part of that. Everyone's doing that. It's not even cool anymore. Like, everybody's doing that, right? Is it even genuine what they're doing? Everybody's doing it. It's not worth it anymore. I just want to leave. And so when I think about it that way, when I think about it in the terms of restaurant, when I think about like everybody doing the same thing on Instagram, it can kind of get annoying. You can kind of get like, oh, that's just fake, that's just genuine, it's just hype or whatever it is. So the question I keep getting stumped on with these four dudes is, why did they do it? Why did they go on top of the house? Why did they go through all the effort to climb and dig and pull apart this roof so that they could get their friend to Jesus? Why did they do it? It seemed like a lot of effort, too much effort probably. Like, how close are you to this guy? Like, do you even know him? Do you love him? Is he your brother? Like, you're doing a lot for him right now. Why did they do it? Everyone was there. It was crowded. The windows were crowded. The door was crowded. Everywhere was crowded. There was no way in, no more room. I would have just given up, I think. There's no way. There's no way. So why did they do it? And I think what it says in verse 5, what Jesus says in verse 5 is so indicative of why they did it. And it's this: when Jesus saw their faith. When Jesus saw their faith. When Jesus saw their faith. So it wasn't the pity or the feeling bad or the sorry for the paralyzed man that made Jesus heal him. No, it was the fact of how big their faith was. And when Jesus saw their faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, in one of the translations, it says, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. So faith makes real to us what we desire, what we hope for, what we want to see Jesus do in and through our lives. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. And so I want to give you two things that I believe happened in these four men that caused them to go out of their way, caused them to go above and beyond so that they could see their friend healed, so that something could happen in them and through them in that moment. But it was all because of their faith. So here it is. Because of their faith, Jesus became real to them. Now hear me. Jesus was a real person. He still is. He's alive and well. But Jesus was living and on earth at that time. So they had heard about him. There was rumors. There was talk. Like, who is this rabbi? They may even think he's the Messiah, the king that's going to come and put everything back how it's supposed to be. Like, Jesus was a real person to them. But what became real to them was not his humanity. It was his divinity. What became real to them was not the fact that he was a human or a rabbi that taught and walked around the earth. No, what became real to them was that he was who he said he was, that he was the Son of God, and he had the power to heal their friend who was paralyzed right then and there. And so when that became real to them, when Jesus, the Son of God, the healer, the Redeemer, became real to them, They grew in faith, and they said, I'll do whatever it takes to get my friend to Jesus. And the question I want to ask you, has Jesus become real to you? Or is he just like a celebrity that we just kind of dehumanize, like he's just some figure, he's just something out in the distance? Or has Jesus, the Son of God, fully man, fully God, that came to earth and died on a cross for you, and he's still alive today because he was resurrected on the third day, is he real to you? The power that he holds and he can work through you, in and through you, is that real to you? Is Jesus real to you? I don't know about you, but that is my biggest desire in this life. Aside from loving people with the love of Jesus, which I think this has to happen first, is my biggest desire in life is for Jesus to become real to me. Like so real that I can't shake it. It's all I talk about. It's all I want to do. It's all I want to be. And then in that, I go love people. I go love and be the light of Jesus in every place, in every house, in every room, in every school, in every class. I want to be Jesus to people. I want to love people because of their faith, Jesus became real to them. Is Jesus real to you? Has he actually become real to you? The second is this. Because of their faith, Jesus became worth it to them. Jesus became worth it to them. I'm telling you, I wasn't there. I don't know what it's like to dig a hole in a roof, but I'm guessing it's not that easy. But sometimes in life, walking with Jesus isn't that easy, and it takes effort. But when Jesus becomes worth it to you because of the faith that made you believe that he's actually real, he's alive and well, he's a person who can save me and guide me through all of life's troubles and calamities and hardships and all those things. Jesus became worth it to them. So the question I want to ask you, has Jesus become worth it to you? Is he worth it to you? Is he worth your time? That's a hard one for me. I like sleep, and sometimes sleep gets in the way of me spending time with Jesus. What's more important to you? What's more worth it to you, Jesus or your sleep? Because I don't know about you, but I want him to be so real to me and so worth it to me that I'm going to do everything and anything to walk out what he's called me to do so that he can do stuff in me, he can do stuff through me, so that by the time I get to heaven, by the time I see him face to face, I may be crawling over the finish line, but man, I'm there and I've done everything that he's asked me to. I've given my best so that I could be everything that he's called me to be and do everything that he's put in front of me. Not to be the best, but to honor him because he gave it all for me. And frankly, because I was worth it to him. Is Jesus worth it to you? That's the question you need to ask. Is he worth it to you? Has he become real to you? Because our lives won't change, our lives won't be transformed until he becomes real to us and until he becomes worth it to us. So is he real to you? Has he become real? And is he worth it? Is he worth your time? Is Jesus worth it